Oilers Nation in the morning. There you go. Hey, I knew Aaron would like that one.
Sick.
I prefer Oilers Nation after dark.
Yeah, that's coming back this year, Frank.
Scantily clad Oilers Nation.
Yeah, well, Aaron's the new host of it, so
I'll
giddy
be
up.
sure to be scantily.
Yeah.
Okay.
Welcome into a special morning edition of Oilers Nation Everyday. As always, live from the Sports Closet studio. Look what they hooked us up with. I can't take it off the hanger because everything else will fall down. It's a load-bearing hanger. But Frank, what do you think? What do you think of these Heritage Classic units?
So here's the thing. I like the jersey.
Mm-hmm.
They lost me on the pants and the gloves.
Oh, no. Wrong take.
Oh, well.
I think it's sweet. Outdoor
All right, I'll
games.
see you guys later.
Yeah, it's got to look old
That
school.
was Frank Seravalli, everybody.
Yeah. So you like the jersey, don't like the whole getup.
Yeah, I think that if you just had like really simply color matched pants that were normal, that would have been a good look. Not just good, but like chef's kiss.
Mamma mia. Frank Seravalli is in Edmonton, the NHL insider. And originally, like we said yesterday on the show, we were going to do this at like some undetermined time in the afternoon. Then last night, Frank, being a genius, was like, why don't we just do it in the morning? And the three of us were like, oh, but then we got to get up early.
Yeah, mornings.
But Frank won the fight. So we're going live at 9 a.m.
It's not a place of miniature business. We actually do stuff here.
We do. We'll be heading down to Rogers Place a little bit later today for you to collect a bunch of interviews, but you're doing a nice little Western Canadian preseason tour that included a stop out in Vancouver. How was Van?
Rainy.
Mm-hmm.
Shocking.
Yep. Did not see the sun, but it was good to spend some time with the Canucks. Good to really get a vibe and sense of what their camp is like. They have fascinating conversation with Ian Cole, which will drop on Frankly Speaking soon. Just he joined the Canucks in part because of opportunity, but also in part because he thinks that hearing directly from the coaching staff and management before he signed that they're sick of losing, that they want this to end and change. Probably not that the Oilers are viewing the Canucks as a huge threat, but it's going to make for a fascinating division this year that I think is the toughest in hockey.
So you think it's the toughest in hockey?
Give me a tougher one. It's definitely not the Atlantic.
It is underrated. I don't think people appreciate how difficult the Pacific actually can be. When they're the only team, how many playoff teams did they have?
They had the most 100-point teams last year, which is worth noting.
Yeah.
Check mark for Frank.
You don't think it's the Atlantic? Toronto, Tampa.
Nope.
Well, Boston
Florida's good.
off.
Boston's going to take a step back. I could see Florida missing the playoffs.
I think so too. Are Florida good? Like they're good, but they're not like a contender.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, you're right.
They got hot.
Metro.
That's maybe the only division that I think you could make a strong counter argument for.
Gosh. Yeah, maybe. You might be right.
I'm not entirely sure how good the Rangers are. Like, I think they have a lot of really good pieces.
Yeah.
They were also the third place team in that division last year.
Not that this is a great comparison, but similar to Vancouver in a way where you look at that Canucks roster and you're like, Pettersson, electric. Quinn Hughes, captain now, electric. Thatcher Demko should be really, really good. And you're like, okay, you've said this before. They have all the pillars. It's everything around there that just always seems to crumble for the Canucks.
Okay, so let's unpack everything that you just said. So everything that could go wrong for the Canucks has gone wrong. We acknowledge, right?
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
That's probably going to change at some point.
You know, do you believe in curses?
I mean, people say like, oh, the Leafs are going to leave
in
the playoffs. And I guess that could be the case.
Yeah.
But they've also changed the pieces around the Canucks. Like the biggest thing for me looking at that team was last year they were asking defensemen that were young and inexperienced to bite off way more than they could chew. We're talking about fringe NHLers being put in 4, 5, 6 defensive roles.
Yeah.
This year, you're going to have Philip Broberg for a whole season. You signed Carson Soucy. You added Ian Cole. All of a sudden, 1 to 6, you're like, oh, damn, that's pretty good.
It's okay. Yeah.
Thatcher Demko, healthy, completely healthy. Talked to him as part of our training camp tour. He said that he completely tore his groin last season.
Gross.
Yeah, gross. Look at his numbers through his whole career. You can almost directly correlate any downturn in his game with an injury. He played at an 883 for the first chunk of the season. came back, and from March 2nd until the end of the year, 920.
It's good.
Mhm.
Well, it's really good.
Adding Casey DeSmith is a pretty good move too. Having a goalie like Demko after he's been playing behind Tristan Jarry, who's a band-aid too. It's good to have that kind of backup.
Well, I think what's interesting, Liam, is there's clearly a familiarity and a trust there between the coaching staff and management and DeSmith. They know him from Pitt.
Yeah.
And more than that, Demko and DeSmith are part of the same agency and know each other a little bit. I think that helps as well, a trust factor. So here's my bold prediction.
Okay.
1, the Canucks make the playoffs. 2, Thatcher Demko wins the Vezina.
Ooh.
Do you think the Canucks make the playoffs as a top 3 team or a wild card team?
Wild card team.
So 4 from the Pacific are at least getting in your opinion, because Edmonton and Vegas, LA
Yes,
are all 3.
I have 5.
Calgary?
God, is Calgary your 5th team, Frank? Get out of here.
All right, see you guys.
They are, hey?
So I think so. I'm still waffling a little bit. And the biggest thing, so the next question that I know you're going to ask me is, okay, so if you have 5 teams and Calgary and Van are in, who is out? And I think, emphasis on think, Seattle.
I don't know about the Kraken. I feel like you talked about everything going wrong for Vancouver.
Everything went right.
Everything
Yeah,
went
they
right.
peaked.
And then this summer, they didn't get better. Like they're bringing back the same group. So it's like, they're just blindly trusting that everything's going to go right again for a
All
second
these
year.
career years are going to happen again.
I doubt
And
it.
they did that in spite of bad goaltending still?
Yeah. So maybe the goaltending turns around, and that's like the one
This
thing
is also a
that didn't go
team
right.
that won a round and defeated the defending Stanley Cup champions in round 1. Like this is actually a bold prediction
was
saying that
lightning in
the
a bottle.
Kraken are out.
I think they're out too, though.
Do you have the Flames in? Let's get some real talk on ONE.
I mean, I think you have to legitly think the Flames are going to be good. Their team.
Did you just
is-
invent a word?
Legitly?
Legitly?
is a word?
Sounded all right.
Dude, that's
I think it's
legitness.
legitimately.
Legitimately.
Dude, there's no time, Frank.
Hey,
Where's
English guy,
Liam's
my
proper
language.
English?
It's my language.
Proper.
He's like Kevin Malone in that episode of The Office. He's trying to save time, just cutting out big chunks.
Legitimately.
Yeah.
Calgary are a good team.
So, but that
They're
turnaround
good.
is purely based on vibes, because
Well,
they got worse over the summer again. Swapping to Foley for Sharon Govich makes them worse.
They didn't get better. That's for sure.
Yeah, sure. They certainly didn't get better.
Okay, fair.
So,
Just doesn't getting rid of Daryl Sutter make you better?
but that's what I mean. So it's a
I think
complete
Did they get better? I think they
vibes-based
actually did.
turnaround.
Even the lightness of the dressing room with Jacob Peltier joking the other day about his number change, saying how his new number is easier to remember because Sutter famously did that.
Dude, that
right?
was unreal.
It's
That's
just
pretty
like
funny.
stuff like that. It's like the vibes are a bit lighter. Like maybe Huberdeau can find his way because the coach doesn't hate him.
Hat trick in
Might be
game 1 of the
big.
preseason. Like
10-0 Tyler. Maybe they'll win it
Yeah.
all.
Who should Oilers fans be more scared of, the Flames or the Canucks?
Is Liam a closet Flames fan?
Might be. We're gonna
No, don't put that out.
Yeah,
there,
let's
please.
I think he might be.
Their
Breaking-
roster is good.
Breaking
And like
news.
Jacob Markstrom kind of just, up and down. But if you get an up year from Jacob Markstrom, then yeah, I think the Flames are my 4 in the Pacific.
Okay, so you're going 4.
Maybe the
Here's
3.
okay. So here's the thing: who from the Central is the other 4? Because I can't come up with 4 playoff teams.
Colorado, Dallas, Minnesota, Arizona. Boom, done. Heard it here first.
Arizona.
what?
Big Carol Vamelka guy. No,
The Yotes will be way better.
the Yotes will be way better,
Dude,
man.
I don't like whoever is selling that. Like,
Me.
yeah, I'm sorry. Like,
Cat food?
I'm not buying.
I don't think they're a playoff team, but I think they're
No,
going to be way more competitive.
they'll be
Just the
more
way
competitive.
they ended the season last
I don't
year.
know. It's tough to tell.
Dude, they have like 2 NHL defensemen,
Who are you two? Dursey,
Jersey
and
and
Dumba?
Dumba.
and Michael Kesselring.
Hey,
Oh, he's
Hey.
good.
Pour one out for our old friend.
yeah, that is true. Their defense is very weak.
Okay, so
But their
let's
forward group is good.
good. Okay.
And then
Valamaki's an
goaltending-
NHLD man. JJ Moser's not a top pairing guy, but he's good. Yeah, no, you're right.
Yeah, no,
I like the
kinda made your
vibes.
point there.
So
So you don't think St. Louis can make that jump?
So wait, let's
now?
just recall.
Yeah.
you're like Valimaki, NHL defenseman, like he was put on waivers last year. Not to say like waiver claims can't be something and that he may not have turned around his career. Like I think he desperately needed a fresh start and he got that opportunity in Arizona. It's a lot. Like you're asking him he was on track before his knee injury in Calgary to be a top 4 guy. It's a big ask in Arizona.
Yeah, it is. I'm just looking at who could be that 4th team in the Central, and I'm kind of just going,
none.
well, yeah, like Winnipeg probably won't be good.
The only team that I'm really not sure about is St. Louis.
Yeah.
I could see St. Louis being good.
Is their goaltending going to hold?
I'm just not a Binnington believer. I think we've got, if you go look at his numbers really closely, he's got 100 games of sub 900 save percentage, his last 100 games.
Yeah.
It's a lot. That's 2 seasons worth of starts, pretty much.
Yeah.
So it's a long time to say I'm not even getting close to league average.
What do you think of the Preds? What do you think of the Preds this season?
Saros might be able to just drag them into
I
that
don't
4th
think
spot.
so. They've got such like, so let's talk about teams that got better and got worse. Like I love the way they fought down the stretch, but they ripped off a huge ton of talent from that team at the trade deadline last year. So now to think that adding Ryan O'Reilly, love the leadership, think he's past his prime.
That forward group.
Like it's the second
Who's gonna
line.
score?
The second line on Daily Faceoff is Thomas Novak centering Luke Evangelista and Dennis Gurianov. Like that's come on.
That's
Pardon?
sentiment depth is
You've
not
got a
very good.
bunch of hope bets is really how I look at that team. I don't mind their decor.
It's not terrible, yeah.
Yeah,
No, I don't think
it's
it's
pretty good
pretty good.
actually.
Yotes might be better than him.
Isn't that kind of the Nashville way? Like have great defense and good goaltending and then just hope somebody scores goals and they'll scrape their way in.
Pretty much.
Pretty much, right? Like
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think they're like the Central might be junk.
And I said I think the Pacific is the best division in the league.
So maybe there are 5 coming from the Pacific. God, I just look at Vancouver. I don't
what
love that.
part don't you like?
I don't know if I'm sold on that forward group necessarily.
What part about it? 102 point scorer Elias Pettersson.
Okay, and
And-
that'd be like if I was like, oh, Philip Forsberg looking good. Like
Kuzmenko's legit.
Yeah,
JT
he's
Miller is pretty legit.
yeah, JT Miller's
JT Miller
good.
is going to be a 90 point
Pius
player.
Suter, 3rd line center.
I can tell you've been hanging out with Chris Faber and our friends over at Canucks
Yeah.
Army, Frank.
Well, I have been. Chris
Yeah.
Faber did give me a ride to the rink yesterday.
I would say you got to
He's-
record in their studio, which is Faber's house.
Yeah, it's like literally his condo.
Yeah.
It was something.
Yeah, maybe I'm not giving the Canucks forward group enough credit.
So if you think Calgary and Vancouver would make it, would it be Calgary then Vancouver?
Yeah, I think if Vancouver gets in, I think they're the 5th.
Oilers Canucks round 1. That'd be pretty electric.
That'd be a good one.
Be a good series. It would be good to
you're
get those.
thinking that the Oilers are winning the division.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I love how he said that. He was like, yes.
My take on the Oilers this year is that the regular season is going to be incredibly boring because I think it's just going to be kind of the same as last year. They'll just be good.
You want to hear something funny? Covering an NHL team, like the very worst thing that you can be is really, really good and also really, really bad because there's nothing ever to talk about.
And that's kind of what I'm thinking is like,
That's the new slogan for O&E this year. Nothing.
Show
the
about
only
nothing.
way this show is entertaining next year is if some shit goes terribly wrong,
Like you call them out for not making the playoffs at American Thanksgiving.
which it's
But
happened the
it's
last
on the
2
cards,
years.
it's on the
I've said it
cards.
the last 2 years. But
So okay, so let's talk about that. Let's unpack what are some of the things, and this is not a negative. What are some things that could go wrong?
injuries.
Well, that's any team.
Yeah.
For the Oilers?
Stuart Skinner isn't a number 1.
Aaron
Yeah.
Rodgers. Sorry. All right. Too soon.
Well, like,
okay.
Jack Campbell never bounces back.
That's
right? Like
so
goaltending
that's
is
like
number
actually
2.
so the Oilers were, what was their record in January last year?
Not great.
Look it up. Tell me what the record was in January.
Well, it was really bad until we went to Vegas, right? And then we went
Yeah.
to Vegas and everything turned
We
around.
are
all
responsible.
because Bag Milk went to Taco Bell 6 times.
Cantina lifestyle, Frank.
It's a great argument, to be honest.
It actually
Yeah, because
really
it was
is.
from the LA Kings game
On
onwards.
and that's exactly, remember we went to the All-Star game in Florida and talked to McDavid And I said, what do you think was the turning point in your year? And he said, the night we got blown out in LA.
Okay, so all of January is not the right way to do it. I think it's
before Jan. Yeah.
Yeah, because in January.
What was their total record like on Jan 1, like heading into the new year?
Oh my God, you're making me click around.
Trying
Oh
to do
my
that.
God,
It says after Jan 1, we were 37-7. So let's try and do reverse.
2016-2.
2016-2.
Yeah, they
Do
were
you know what that
16th
pace
in the league.
is? It's like 86 points.
Yeah.
88 points.
Yeah.
And then they did what after?
It said 37-7 since
Okay.
January 1st.
So
And what was the big culprit?
Yeah.
What was the contributing factor?
Fired Tippett. Wait, wrong year.
Yeah.
of them getting better.
No, what was the reason why they were 2016-2?
Goaltending.
Jack Campbell.
But
Poor Jack.
this year seemed. I'm not 100% sure Jack Campbell will bounce back. People keep putting him. You see these things on Twitter. It's like, he's going to finish top 5 in save percentage. Like,
No, he's not.
what does it ever give you that indication when he's been playing?
He
here?
is like a career 9-10 guy.
He can be good.
He'll be better.
And
He should be better.
We saw a glimpse of it in the playoffs, and he probably should have started a game, I should say. I think the difference this year is the pressure is now on Stuart Skinner to be the number one rather than Jack Campbell to come in and be the number one. The others don't have to look at Campbell and be like, well, he's our star. We just paid him $5 million.
We
Like,
just
gotta
keep
play him
flip flopping
back-to-back.
starting goalies.
So who
yeah.
starts opening night?
Skinner.
Skinner's crease to lose.
He's
Gotta
earned
be.
the opportunity for that.
I still think he only plays like 42, 43 games this year, and Campbell probably plays like 38, 39, just because they're going to be mindful of it, and there'll probably be a stretch where the crease flips over, but it's Skinner's crease to lose to start.
What kind of odds would you give me that Jack Campbell starts opening night?
I would give you, shout out to Betway, 19 plus, play responsibly. Betway, put myself in their shoes. Say there's like a 25% chance. So yeah, like 4-1 odds, plus 400.
I was going to say 500.
Wait, don't they start on the road?
Yeah, they start in Van.
So maybe they would start Campbell on the road and then have Skinner give him the
So
home
you're
opener.
telling me, Frank, October 11th, we're at Greta for the season launch party of
The old
Oilers Nation.
Regretta bar.
Yes, it's going to be a good time. Tickets are going to be launching soon. Keep it locked on nationgear.ca. And we're going to have a very, very, very exciting giveaway at our season launch party on October 11th.
Shout
you're
out to the new nationgear.ca.
Yeah, that's
Coming
coming.
soon.
Coming soon. You're telling me when all the nation's citizens gather for the season launch party at Greta, there's a chance Jack Campbell's leading the Oilers onto the ice in Vancouver?
I think there's better than a 25% chance.
What would you give it? 40?
Yeah.
40?
Jay Woodcroft refused to play him, start him in the playoffs, though.
But that was last year, and this is, you have to send them. It's here. It's right here between your ears.
Yeah.
Jack Campbell, it's never technical. It's
Yeah.
never physical.
Well, last year his equipment was wrong.
Well, that was a Mike McKenna catch.
Yeah.
He was like the first guy to point that out and was like, something's weird about this. Like, his angle, I don't know. Technical jargon, I don't understand. But you have to pump up the tires of Jack Campbell as much as you can if you're Jay Woodcroft. That's actually one of his like top 3 most important jobs this year, is just being a human tire inflator.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So you think Campbell's starting isn't based off the ability of Skinner?
Or
but more-
meritocracy.
Or what?
Or
Meritocracy.
yeah, I know. That's sorry to throw that at you.
I couldn't even say
Queen's English there.
legitimately before. Now you're saying
Throw that
that. So you think if Campbell starts, it's not based off Skinner's ability, but the fact Campbell needs to be mentally there, I guess you could say.
Engaged?
Yeah, engaged.
And confident.
Okay.
And is it a back-to-back to start?
No, they
No.
play 11th and 14th. So
A couple days off.
I think it's Wednesday,
Well,
Saturday.
they're probably not going to start Skinner in both.
So you want Stu for the home opener? Yeah.
That's
Good
what I would
vibes.
do.
You might be onto something here.
Oh my God, you might know that.
Crazy.
I don't know. I actually don't know any details, but I plan to talk to Jay Woodcroft about that today.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to know, like, how do you reinvigorate Jack Campbell? The only way to do it is to get him right from the start, I think. Last year, he just
Pissed his pants.
collapsed on himself.
Yeah.
I just looked it up. To that LA Kings game, 19 starts, 877 save percentage.
That's really bad.
You're not going to make the playoffs with that.
No, we have their side-by-side numbers here from last season. Pretty clear who the number one was last year. 50 games played, 36 games
Am I
played.
crazy?
I don't think that's a crazy
I
thing.
see your logic now that you've laid it out. Now that the facts have been presented, I see how you get there. Yeah. Because they're not, maybe you don't want to play Skinner the first 2 games of the year, would give Campbell a boost. I think the games played is going to be pretty split next season. So
here's my thing. I'm not down on Stuart Skinner at all. And I think he's a great piece to have and a fantastic contract. Last year was last year. Stuart Skinner needs to come out and do it again. And he didn't do it in the playoffs.
Because he was sleepy. He was tired.
But what excuse is that?
I don't know. A bad one.
Is there any chance that he regresses a bit?
Yes.
Oh, there's a good chance he regresses. A chance. There's a
Sophomore
legitimate
slump
chance.
that everybody always hits.
Sophomore slump. Yep.
Teams get a book on goalies. I think that's a real thing. It's like, it's not quite like third time through the lineup for a pitcher, but it's kind of like, hey, we saw this guy a bunch. We understand how he moves. Here are his tendencies and weaknesses.
Like last year, shoot from the blue line on Jack Campbell. Boom, worked.
Yeah, shoot from Red Deer.
Yeah. All right. Let's catch up on what's going on in the Oilers Nation YouTube chat, which today is brought to you by our friends at Star Mechanical. The #1 YouTube chat in the world is brought to you by the #1 heating and plumbing company in the world.
I thought that
Star
was
Mechanical.
me. I thought I'm Star Mechanical.
We mix it up.
It's Wednesday.
This
is your day. This is your day.
Get out of here.
Then
Yes.
Frank's trip to
I'm
Edmonton is
reclaiming
over.
Star Mechanical.
24/7 emergency service. Give them a ring, 780-481-8873, or find them online at starmechanical.ca. Chris Walkling had our first comment of the day. 3rd preseason game of the year. Good thing there's only 2 or 3 more, right? Wrong. Oilers play 8. What else is going on? Jonathan is in, says, love the show, watching from Salt Lake City. Go Oilers. Brad Bay is in. He is the Adam Ernie fan club, which is a weird name to put
He's
yourself
the only
behind.
member.
Yeah, he might be the only member. But I wanted to use that as a chance. Let's take Brad's comment and flip it into a conversation.
He's actually Adam Ernie's cousin. No, I don't know. Like, he might be Adam.
There's also a very funny comment in there. But I want to talk about PTO or the PTOs on the Oilers
So not
roster.
PG comment? Can I at least see it?
Dangerous Wade said, if you ever forget how hard it is to be a hockey writer, remember Frank is the youngest person in the room. Just a great joke. Also, my brother-in-law is in, and he's invited
I am not
you.
the youngest person in the room. I am the most oldest and most senior.
You are. My brother-in-law is
Emphasis on
in
senior.
and wants to know if you're going to be in town long enough to be at the baptism of his new baby.
Godfather?
I did.
He wasn't dangling that. Come on. The answer is no.
Sorry, Kelly. Anyways, let's talk about the PTO guys in camp for the Oilers. Adam Ernie, Brandon Sutter. The interesting part in all of this,
I would fly back if I was the Godfather. I'm just kidding.
There you go. Invites open. Sutter on paper has the potential to be a perfect solution for this team. Shut down, 4th line center, right shot, kills penalties, boom, plug him in.
Mm-hmm.
The thing is, for me, he has to play so good that this organization can feel they're justified in putting Raphael Lavoie on waivers. A 2nd-round pick who you've put years into developing, 6'4" frame, a guy who, if he pops, could be a really nice piece in this top 9. Is there a legitimate chance that Brandon Sutter plays so well that the Oilers go, Raphael Lavoie's on waivers?
Yeah, there's a chance. And I think...
Is that not foolish? Like, he gets claimed, right? Someone asked that as well, if Lavoie gets claimed.
He gets claimed.
So you're going to give away a guy you picked in the 2nd round a couple of years ago?
Like, any one of those bottom 10 teams would be dumb to be like, hey,
Montreal.
Size, can play, like, has pedigree. Like, why wouldn't we at least try this? Is it foolish? I was actually thinking about this a lot yesterday on the plane over because I was prepping for some questions today with Ken Holland and Jay Woodcroft. And I was like, the whole mission and mandate of the Oilers has changed. This is not when Jay Woodcroft was brought in, and it wasn't that long ago.
Mm-hmm.
It was like, oh, this guy can develop some young players. Ken Holland, 4 years ago when he was brought on, it was like, we need to retool and basically get this thing back up to speed.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's like, we're trying to win the whole damn thing.
Yeah.
Just in the same way that you don't really care about 1st-round picks anymore. You don't really care about 2nd-round picks that haven't made it.
But just because you have that,
and I'm not saying that's right. All
Yeah.
I'm saying is, I personally wouldn't, because I just think there's lots of question marks about Sutter. Like, he hasn't played. Like, on the key phrase that you used there was on paper, and he might look good in September and October. But is he going to be gassed in February?
I think that just because you're in this win now mode doesn't mean you act stupid. And to me, just being like, see you, Lavoie would be kind of
So
dumb.
like Tyler at a casino.
There you go.
Okay. I've seen this in person, so I can.
To me, if you said that you go, okay, Brandon Sutter looks good, we like him. I think no matter what, you're signing him and putting him in Bakersfield. Well, you're waiting a bit, and you go 11-7 to start the year with no fourth line center.
They could extend his PTO in Bakersfield, right?
You could.
Like
Yeah, you could do that.
He could be on PTO forever.
Okay. Maybe that's what they do.
PTO for life. Paid time off for life.
The other option is if Dylan Holloway doesn't look great in the preseason, you could keep Lavoie and Sutter, and Holloway doesn't need waivers.
I think Holloway is
probably going to make the team. But that is an option. If you love Sutter and you're like, damn, we need this guy in our lineup, but we don't want to lose Lavoie, you tell Dylan Holloway, you're going down for a month until someone gets hurt.
I just think perspective is important, because what he looks like now, he may not look like later in the season, having not played and long like all the stuff that goes with, like, Jonathan Taves looked really good to start last season and fell apart. I'm not projecting that that's what's going to happen for Sutter. All I'm saying is, I'm with you. Like, I don't think it makes sense to, lose a prospect on waivers. That may or may not be something, to be candid. Just that the mission and mandate has changed.
Yeah, that's fair. I want to ask you a question about the blue line as well. There's been a lot of talk about, and it's such training camp stuff like, ooh, are the Oilers going to do Bouchard and Nurse as a pairing next year? How exciting. We said yesterday on the show that the player who holds the keys to Jay Woodcroft being able to play Nurse and Bouchard together is Philip Broberg. If he comes into camp and looks like a guy who can handle top 4 minutes, and you go, damn, we could play him with Ekholm, maybe have a Ekholm-Bouchard light pairing because those two played so well together last year. If Broberg comes in and plays well, suddenly you can play Bouchard and Nurse, and you have this top 4 with the 2 young guys on the right side. Maybe it's better than the Nurse, CC, Bouchard, Ekholm way of going about it. But I'm phrasing this or trying to get to this in a way. This is a big year for Philip Broberg, I think. It's shit or get off the pot time. Either he comes in, establishes himself as a top 4 guy, or he's dealt at the deadline.
But that's kind of what I was saying about the view of this and how this all comes together changing, is like, this is not development time. This isn't, hey, we'll just push you out there, little guy, and see if you can grow. We are an elite, one of the very best 3, 4, 5 teams in the league, and we're trying to win a Stanley Cup. And I'm sorry, but we don't have room for you to plod along nicely.
Yeah.
But do you think they would give him a leash until like the deadline to decide that? Like, be like, hey, well,
yeah. What's the reason to make a decision before that?
I agree.
What's the,
but some people just want
the old Lou Lamoriello? If you have time, use it.
Yeah, I think that's the right idea. I think they should play him in a bigger role to actually see
what you got.
What he can do, because there were so many times last season everyone's like, oh, this guy can't play. It's like, well, he's playing like 4 minutes.
Yeah, there's games he played 4 6
minutes. You if you're barely hitting the ice,
So I want to go back to your original question though, because you said, is the linchpin to that Broberg? And isn't the linchpin to that a healthy Ekholm?
Well, that too. Like, I mean, we're living under the assumption he's going to be fine, because it sounds like if this
wasn't a big deal, and if it was the regular season, he'd be playing.
Yeah. So it
doesn't like big guy, older, doesn't really quite move as well as everyone else. A little bit slow in the playoffs, dealing with a hip flexor before the season even starts, make you like a little bit nervous.
I'm curious to know how long he's been dealing with it.
How do you just like? It's September. It's
how do you
still
start
September.
The year with
like,
that?
how do you like?
Yeah,
I am
flexor
nervous
yourself in like captain skate, and usually like is it? I'm not saying it is or isn't, but isn't it like? Can it be tied to something else? Like, do you like compensate? Like, was your training like? I just have a lot of questions.
And I guess I just haven't thought that deep about it. I'm taking them at their word that it's just a minor thing. Guys get hurt, Frank. Sometimes it happens.
Because, yeah.
I don't know. I'm not that worried about it.
Okay. I see in the chat, a lot of people are saying, what does the roster look like for tonight's game? I'm excited to see who's playing tonight for us. Are the big guns coming out tonight?
I think they are.
My understanding is they are.
McDavid and Draisaitl are both playing?
I'm pretty sure McDavid is. Don't know about Draisaitl. I'm not reporting that. I'm just
still
I think
nothing
the
on
plan
Twitter.
is, at least the Canucks yesterday were expecting that. In fact, the Oilers might be playing as many as like 10 guys or 11 guys tonight.
Similar to what the
Winnipeg
Jets did to them the other day when the Oilers just got
sort
throttled.
of, yeah, like the Canucks got throttled in Calgary.
Yeah. Well, our friends at Betway, do they have odds up for this game? No, not yet, but it's coming. You can tell it's coming.
Don't even talk about it. I don't even.
Well, shout out to Betway.
It's called it's a sickness.
All right, let's keep moving along here on the show. We got to get to the Sherwood Ford Giant question of the day, brought to you by our friends out at Sherwood Ford the Giant. Some really exciting stuff coming up with them later on this season, whether you need a new vehicle or maybe you need something that doesn't get driven on the road. If you catch my drift, they could have you covered later in the year. It's a little tease. Call that a tease, Liam.
I'm not picking up what you're putting down.
Yeah, it's fine.
Buy your own plane.
We have the NHL Insider in studio. So Frank, we got to ask you, what's going to be the biggest need for the Oilers come trade deadline? I talked about how this regular season is going to be pretty boring.
God, you guys are so impatient. Like, stop doing the February show today.
Well, like,
it's September 27th.
We are going to talk about this question. It'll be the biggest topic of the year. It'll just be, what do they need at the deadline? But when you look at this roster right now, what do you look at and go, that's the area Ken Holland will probably need to shore up?
Probably third pair D.
And probably a right shot versus a left shot, right?
Probably. Like, I really like Desharnais.
He can be year 7, though.
Right. But didn't it seem like they also didn't really trust him?
In the playoffs, it was a bit of a mixed bag, I think. I think there was some nights when he was bad, they couldn't trust him. But there was some nights where you didn't really notice he was playing, which is probably a good thing, too.
I can't really look at one thing of the forward group and be like, yeah, there's a clear hole there. Like, there was one, but then Connor Brown filled it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think Fogle determines if there's a hole or not in the forward group.
And Holloway.
Sure.
Like, if one of those guys pops and it's like, okay, the third line with McLeod and those two is giving you a decent amount of offense, like, you probably don't need that a forward.
I do think there's a lot actually holes in the bottom 6. There's just not holes, just question marks, right? Like,
Janmark's a question for me.
Janmark what's Derek Ryan, 36 now? What's he really going to do for you this year?
But we're talking about like the legitimate edges and fringe. Like, you said big need. Like, none of those guys are big needs.
The only thing I can think of is if you wanted to go out and get like a right shot version of Matthias Ekholm. And then your top 4 would be Nurse and that guy, and then Ekholm and Bouchard. And it's like, okay, now you're starting to
bump CC down to the third pair. Then
CC's probably a cap casualty in the trade.
Okay.
And then you're running Kulak with one
Tyson
of
Barrie.
Yeah, Kulak with one of Vinny or Broberg on the other side.
I think the Oilers players are still sad. Tyson Barrie's not here.
I think Tyson
Barrie's sad. He
talks about it all the damn time.
Definitely sad. That hit like a 2x4.
Did you hear the story? Did you hear the story he told on Luke Gazdik's podcast?
No.
He had some wedding crashers. Show up to his thing this summer because there were so many NHLers, and then the way the wedding crashers exposed themselves is they were videoing Connor on the dance floor, I guess. So Barry's agent, Bane Pettinger, walked up to the guys and was like, "Hey, like, how do you know the bride and groom?" And they were like, "Oh, we're his agent Bane's cousins." Bane was like, "No, you're not."
Jesus.
But yeah, he definitely still misses it in Edmonton. I mean, hey,
I hope those guys smashed later. That's amazing.
Yeah, it's pretty funny. What were we talking about? Oh yeah, Barry definitely misses it in Edmonton. No, we can't say that. That totally took us off track. What did you want to say about Barry?
I have this theory, Frank, and I know it's really silly, but I'm going to ask you anyway. Tyson Barrie is a free agent at the end of this season, right? Half retained, $2 million. Right shot defenseman.
Bring him back
at the deadline.
He played third pairing for the Oilers last year and was actually not that bad. Him and Kulak reunion. Is that a possibility?
Barry Kulak was actually a pretty good pairing. They were nice, yeah.
Oilers love him. I think sounds like it was very difficult for all parties to actually move him. Do you think there's a chance? Because Nashville, we just discussed, probably isn't going to be that good.
From the perspective, like, if you wanted to just give the room a boost, like,
might not be a bad idea.
Yeah, I think he's like now with a bunch of close friends in Nashville. Like,
Matt Duchene
Probably
or
pretty-
Oh, no, they got rid of Matt Duchene.
Oh yeah, where's he now?
Yeah.
Dallas.
Dallas.
Yeah.
I'm up to the times.
That's my Stanley Cup pick.
The Dallas Stars. Really?
You're on an Oilers show right now.
Yeah, but you should all be thanking me.
Yeah, you're never like they're missing the playoffs now. Who was your pick last year?
Carolina.
Well, they had a good year. Yeah, I mean, Dallas looks like that that forward group on paper looks really, really good. They have the star power.
Jay
Their D
Gottinger.
skates like the wind.
Yeah,
Jay
their D moves
Gottinger's
well.
good.
Yeah, Dallas will be a force. Think they can win the Central over Colorado in the regular season?
Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. Who gives a shit? Yeah. Yeah, they finished 1 point back of them last year. I think the Oilers legitimately have a chance to be the best regular season team in the league, though.
Yeah, they do.
I don't think that's an unrealistic bar to set for them.
Look, you're talking about like the preseason Stanley Cup favorite potentially.
Yeah.
So to say they could win the regular season, like no one's being like, no, they can't.
Hot take, Tyler.
We do. Yeah, fair.
Good one.
We do need
Good
to work.
one, Randy. Good one.
We need to work towards the end of the show. This is show number 2 of 3 this week. The third one is coming to you live from Century Mile Racetrack on Friday night.
Dude, I'm like so mad I'm missing that because I love
we
the
get done?
ponies.
We did an afternoon
This
show
is-
yesterday.
It's standard bred racing, right?
Probably.
They are horses.
They are horses. That is what the
Wow,
ad read
you
says.
guys are really adding.
We did a morning show today, and then we're doing a nighttime show on Friday live from the horse track at Century Mile.
Scantily clad.
Yes.
Oilers Nation.
Oilers
Every
Nation
day.
every day after dark. And you can come. No ticket needed. It is a free event. We're going to be giving away Nation gear. There's going to be an Oilers Nation themed heat in the race as well, all happening because of our friends at Century Mile Racetrack. Don't miss it Friday. And if you're one of the people who never shuts up about me joining the Discord in the chat, if someone shows me how to join the Discord at the event, I will do it. So
What
there
is
you go.
what is the Discord?
It is a
The people who listen to the show have like a Discord chat. It's like an
chat
app.
room.
It's like an
Ah.
chat room app.
Mhm.
I've
And they
been on
always want us to
Discord.
join.
I
But
got-
they do it like simultaneously?
I don't know what they do.
It's
in there.
going off, I feel like, all the time.
yeah, someone.
But you're
already
not
sent
in
a
it, so you don't
message.
know.
No, Liam and I are in
Someone,
it.
we're in it because we
I don't get
appreciate
it.
our fans.
Tyler's big leaguing them.
Standard.
They like send messages when we go live. Lance already did it. Surprise ONE 23 minutes ago.
Thanks,
That's the
Lance.
best.
They are the best. All right, Betway other sports
Oh,
report
wait.
real quick here. Oh,
I have one question.
Oh.
Actually, I have two.
oh.
First
God,
question.
what's your problem?
The NHL just went to Australia,
Yep.
and it was almost a disaster. Two
Speaking
things.
like a true member of the Queen's Commonwealth or the King's Commonwealth now. Okay.
Do you
Go
think
ahead.
there's a chance that they play again outside of not even North America, but outside of Europe? Like, would they go to like China or like South Korea or something like that? Do you think?
Well, China probably not. Everyone hates China.
Why? What
That's
happened?
Geopolitically.
Yeah.
I think that's probably out of the rotation for a little bit,
Yeah.
as well as
Fair
Russia.
enough.
Moscow.
Yeah, that's not going to happen. The NHL played games in Japan.
Really?
Like, I think like Tyler was like 1, but like yeah, that happened.
See,
That would be cool. Like that would be on my
cool.
list. Like I would love to go to like Tokyo or wherever and
yeah.
put a game in one of those baseball stadiums.
You think they'd be the most well-behaved fans you've ever seen?
They
I
would
feel like
clean up
would be.
after
Yeah,
themselves.
right.
You
Because
ever see
that's at the
that
baseball.
World Cup?
At
I
World
mean, have
Cup,
you seen
yeah.
their toilets? Like it's unbelievable.
Crazy little
Yeah.
country.
That's on my bucket list actually.
Tokyo?
Japan, yeah.
Mine too.
We should go together.
We could go. We could go.
Oh Jesus.
Where else? Like
That's kind of it.
look,
isn't it?
here's the
Like,
thing is the NHL was cut a big check to do this
Mhm.
game, these 2 games, and it's a really long way to go. As they found
Yeah.
out, it's a very long way to ship rink equipment. There's only 20, like, so Australia, I think because it's so far, people lose track of how big it is. Like it's bigger than the US. And they have 22 total rinks.
That's the surprising part is that there's 22 total.
You think
ranks.
that's a lot?
a little bit? I don't know.
Dude,
like
the
it's
country is
Australia.
so big.
It's
Yeah, but
hockey
you
in
don't
like a
think
warm
hockey
country.
would- yeah.
Yeah, but they like have participated in the Olympics in hockey.
Hmm.
And if I'm not mistaken, like medaled
I didn't
in
know
like
that.
the 1930s. Like they actually
Wow.
like have hockey there. It's a thing. But not a big thing.
Yeah.
Do I have time for my other
Yes, you
question?
can get your other question.
God, you're so
Uh,
needy.
So it's kind of a two-parter.
Yeah.
Devin Levi my first question is, how much do Buffalo trust him to kind of be the goalie of this season? We saw that clip last night where he looks insane. And then secondly, how much regret do you think Florida have on trading him?
Zero regret.
You think so?
You got Sam Reinhart.
I guess they did get Sam Reinhart, but
he was an extra commodity because they had Spencer Knight.
Yeah. We'll scratch that part question.
It was like dealing from a position of strength. Like you got Sam Reinhart. Did he not come in and give you like 80-point seasons?
Yeah, that's true. They did go to the Stanley Cup final.
And Devin Levi's just now breaking in. Excuse me. I would say, do they regret it? Probably not. I love his like. You've seen his like gig of like
he's meditating on the ice,
the namaste.
Yeah,
have you seen that?
No.
So like Devin Levi between when they like scrape the ice during media timeouts, TV timeouts, he like does like a yoga pose in between the circles and like full on like meditates. As like they're like
clean the ice around.
Speaking
him.
of scantily clad women are like scraping the ice right in front of him. And he's like, yeah, whatever, I'm gonna meditate.
Interesting.
Look it up. It
was a clip last night.
I'm on it.
It's cool. It's
so. Do you think Levi's good enough to get the Sabres to the playoffs?
I do think the Sabres make the playoffs.
In spite of goaltending, do they go get a goalie?
No, I think like all you're really asking for is like, give me league average. Like, you don't need to go out and be Sorokin or Shesterkin. Like, you just need to be like good enough.
His story's wild.
He's really good. Like, he's good. Like, I think he's going to be a big surprise this year. And it's difficult to really project. First off, it's difficult to project any goalie any year, but to do what he's attempting to do, to go right from college to the NHL, like Hobey Baker winner Ryan Miller went to the AHL first. Like that is a thing. Like you go and spend time there. Carey Price played in the AHL. Like you need to do that. And he's kind of like skipping a step. It's happened before, like Tom Barrasso, Hall of Famer this year. He played high school hockey and the next year won the Calder and Vezina.
That's legit.
High school hockey.
Yeah.
That's crazy. So that was a long, long time ago, and it tells you how bad goalies were then. But I think it's possible. I think it's doable.
Okay, we got to move on to the Betway Other Sports Report. Shout out to our friends at Betway 19+. Play responsibly. # ring the bell. You vibing with your Phillies right now? 6-game heater. You think they got a shot this year?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why not?
Are you going to a lot of the playoff games again? Like your season ticket holder now?
Yeah.
The Atlanta Braves would be why not?
Last time I checked, they beat the Braves in the playoffs last year. Whoops, Spencer Strider in Citizens Bank
Who
Park.
has the World Series in the last couple of years?
Yeah, it's been 15 years for the Phillies.
Fair enough. But the vibes are good around Phillies fans this year. You're just
Eagles, it's a
good time in the sports town.
Bad time to be a Flyers fan.
Any thoughts on Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift before we go? That thing has been blowing up.
I actually want to listen to the new Kelce podcast today because he apparently goes in depth about it.
We can download it for our drive out tomorrow.
New heights.
Me and you, we're going to have a heart-to-heart the whole way there.
Yeah, we probably will. That's usually how we roll. Betway Other Sports Report. Jay's in action tonight as well. That was a tough loss last night for the Bluebirds. Their magic number is still 3. So that's not terrible. They're still 2 games up on the Mariners. Not terrible. But still, you need a big win, and you're facing Garrett Cole tonight. Cole versus Barrios, I would rock with the under on Betway. Not trusting the Jays' money line tonight.
Not betting preseason hockey tonight.
Not betting preseason hockey tonight. No way, Jose. So there you go. Let's wrap up the show. Alberta Blue Cross. This is the new end of the show, Frank. We give our favorite memory of the show because Alberta Blue Cross, they're all about protecting memories with things like travel insurance. If you come on a nation vacation this year, our friends at Alberta Blue Cross, they
I'm not
provide.
Invited back on that.
Yeah, no, you're not. But they provide all of the travel insurance. Shout out to Alberta Blue Cross. If you want to find out more info about how they can help protect you and your memories when you're traveling around, ab.bluecross.ca/travel. Favorite memory of the show, Liam? Go.
Probably when I learned a new word.
Yeah,
legitimately.
Good one. That's a good one.
Don't ask me to spell it.
Frank, favorite memory from today's show?
When someone said that I was the youngest guy in the room.
That was a good one from Dangerous Wade. Aaron, do you have a favorite memory from today's show?
I think when I visualized Tyson Barrie coming back to the Oilers, that was my favorite.
That was a good one.
Big visualized guy.
Hey.
I like it.
This will be my favorite part. What do you think about the new studio, Frank?
I think the fake bricks are a nice touch.
Real bricks.
Fake.
Real bricks.
Fake.
It's like a corner of the building.
Edit that.
You know how long this took to lay these bricks, Frank?
One
I
by
bet.
one. Like the pyramids.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. I like the Heritage Classic.
Yeah, the Heritage Classic jersey. Shout out to Sports Closet. They have them in stock. $210 for blanks, $260 if you want one with Connor McDavid on the back, and also $97 on the front.
So how does that work? So if you get a blank, is like
It's just a
is the
blank
drip
drop.
Blank, yeah.
It's kind of cool. I kind of like the blank drop. I also wish they only put the numbers on one sleeve. Like they're only on the one side, which I don't love. I like, what'd you say before the show? Symmetry is beauty.
Symmetry is beauty.
Symmetry
and it's
is
weird
beauty.
that the numbers only
That's
one-
very
on one arm.
Japanese. Yeah.
Frank, we get along. Don't worry.
Yeah. I'm coming back for the Heritage Classic.
Are you actually?
Yeah.
Oh, I wasn't sure. So I'm going to see you now. Heritage Classic, we're going to hang out. And then I'm coming for American Thanksgiving to your house. We're going to be seeing a lot of each other over the next little bit.
Well, I got to rethink my life choices.
Yeah, a little bit.
Bringing the whole family up to the YEG.
You're bringing, everyone's
Yeah,
coming?
yeah.
Oh, my God. Are you going to come? I know we talked about this last time. Are you going to come for family dinner then? I feel like I should repay you. If I'm going for Thanksgiving dinner, you should come to my parents' place for family dinner.
Liam, we going to?
We should make it work.
We just have Papa John's.
Frank, this is what it looks like without the number.
Kind
It's
of cool.
weird, isn't it?
I think it's cool. A lot of blank
I don't know.
space.
Still
It
don't know
does
how I
feel
feel
like
about
something's missing.
Yeah. I kind of like that you have the number, but it is like, I don't know.
Oh, exciting news.
By the way, this one doesn't have the patch.
Yeah, I don't know why I don't get it. I like it
So
says
I
Battle
saw
Bond
that
on there.
certain, like the Fanatics ones had the patch and the Adidas ones don't. I don't know why that is
Weird.
the case, but
Weird.
you could always buy the patch for $5.
There you go. All right. That's a wrap on today's edition of the show. Frank's heading down to Rogers Place to get some big interviews, and we will be back Friday live at the Century Mile Racetrack. Don't miss it. Please show up. It's going to be a good time.
Bet on horses. Yes.
Thanks for tuning into a morning edition of the show. Shout out to Sherwood Ford, Sports Closet, Star Mechanical, Century Mile, Betway, and our friends at Alberta Blue Cross. We'll chat with you again on Friday.